What's up, hot dogs? We're the Comics Pals. Thank you so much for subscribing to YouTubia. You are our YouTubians, and we thank you for being here and being our patrons.
The YouTube membership of people are called YouTubians.
They are now.
That's what,
I
yeah, that's what
too.
I'm calling them.
I too am a human.
Are those like the Casmanians?
You lost me.
It's a Muppet reference. Okay, I thought we were on the
Oh,
same page.
tremendous.
Oh,
Sorry.
well.
No, sorry. But we wanted to take this time to make extra special content. And we've already done it for the OnlyFans today. So you've got
Thankfully, the lower third right now is cutting off my thighs because it's still. You guys probably see it on the Zoom.
It's still there.
but so we got a really great question in the Discord, which we're going to answer here. And if you saw the question in the Discord and you saw the conversation, you saw that we haven't answered it. We're going to do that here.
Oh, shit.
So this question is from Harvok. Question for the pals. In light of the recent storylines, parentheses, shipping drama is putting mildly, will they, won't they, when it comes to longstanding core relationships? Do you think this type of storytelling is healthy in the way they go about it for the lines and books themselves, or would you rather Marvel and DC draw a hard line one way or the other with certain IP characters? So, to break this question down into something a little more digestible, should Marvel and DC have established couples in their titles, or should it be a little more organic? Should they, go with who the fans want? Should they go with wherever the writers want to take them? What do you guys think?
I think that the other part of the question too is like, is that constant will they, won't they just a problem for comics?
Yeah, great.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, my gut wants a more modern take on romance in my big two comics.
How so?
I want a
Peter Parker on Hinge.
No, Peter Parker.
Bumble or whatever.
I don't care about his romance. I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, Teen Titans polyamory. That's what Tyler wants.
Honestly, give me like this is for the membership. I can say this. Daredevil is the only one who fucks. Like
Green Arrow.
Like, sure, yeah, but like at Marvel specifically, and I think with it having a Disney be the parent company, we'll never get this. But I want like a character who can like give me like a Danny Rand who like goes on a date, has a one night stand. Like I do want romance in comics, but I want like a modern take on it. I want one who like give me Luke Cage who's in a situationship. Actually, don't. I like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. I don't know. Mockingbird comes back to Marvel and she's in a situationship with a guy.
I don't know what that is.
It's like you're not really dating or exclusive, but you see each other all the time. It's very people with horrible commitment issues do that. Yeah. But like I want variance. I want shades of what relationships can be. I want a more reflection of that in the real world. It's always like, oh, will they, won't they? Or, oh, they're married and that's it. Give me divorce characters. you know,
well,
give me a Jessica Jones and Luke Cage who have to decide how custody works, like.
Well, and I think to that degree, there's a flavor, just the smallest flavor of that with Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew.
Sure.
Her unfathered child, her bastard child.
Yeah.
But I think
dad, do we know?
That was a bit of a situationship with her in was it Porcupine, right? Like they were like friends, but like no, that was Cale. That was
come on.
They were friends, but like Porcupine kind of became like the father figure for the child.
Oh. Who's the kid's father?
They never say who the father is. It's an unanswered question still at this point. But like Porcupine kind of filled that role as like, and like it even became a bit of a romance thing as well. So that had a more modern take on romance, I think.
Whenever it comes to romance, I feel like the best place to explore that is within the X-Men. like not even team relationships, but because they have to interact with humans. Like what is the complication of I'm a mutant and I am falling in love with this person, or I'm a mutant and I'm dating, and like there's a lot of flexibility there, I think, for good storytelling, for and it's a different side of people that I don't think comics explore too frequently anymore. Is what does romance look like? Like what does love look like? And what does dating look like? That those are simple story beats that it doesn't seem like people are interested in writing, but I think people could be interested in the stories for. Like a slice of life is huge.
Yeah.
Slice of life is huge in manga, specifically for that reason, because people like seeing heartfelt stories about people falling in love. That's not complicated. That's not hard. And
I want to say, yeah. I
yeah,
don't think people don't want to write it though, Marco. Like it exists everywhere in indie space.
sure, 100%. And I think
It's
it's really good
people
there.
don't want to publish it.
Yeah.
Is I think the issue. Yeah.
I does it would it sell, you know?
I think so. It's if comics ultimately are soap operas
Yeah.
have that, right?
Yep.
And I think that is a different level of tension that adds to the quality of a story, or can add to the quality of a story, or diversify the story.
But how many soap operas are also littered with this person got shot and this person, is
Soap operas.
planning a
Every
bank.
soap opera.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
still have to have the high drama, to go along with the slice of life. And the high drama is what people are watching a soap opera for.
Yeah, it's not going to replace it, but
Yeah.
it's another, like, it's an additive piece to, it's an added element that you can explore.
But what I'm saying, my counter to that is, where are publishing companies, Marvel, where are they going to draw the line for sales dipping every other issue when it's the slice of life issues that dip because there's not enough drama for the people who want high drama? You know what I
I
mean?
don't even think it needs to be per issue though. I think you just need to have it in the comics itself. Like
Yeah.
there is no romance in comics. Like I think the one that jumps out to me is that Tom King Batman run where it was Superman and Batman on double date.
Yeah.
Like that was a real slice of life big two romance issue. And honestly, my favorite issue of the whole series.
People still talk about it.
Yeah. So I think there's want for it too. I just think because they're owned by big companies, the idea of what modern romance can be can sometimes be construed as political, possibly.
Yeah.
And I think they're just afraid.
Yeah.
They're afraid to, like, if they do Lois Lane where she gets I don't know, she is the one, that has agency for herself in a romantic situation. People will complain about it. Like they don't even need to get into the whole like LGBTQ side of things. People will complain about it outside of that as well, even in traditional hetero romance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I don't think people are opposed to it, but I think you're right that people react because they have a set, like, I think they have their own ships for certain things, and
So,
maybe don't realize it, that, oh, this, I don't, why would they ever not end up with this person, like, right, and then spin out from there.
Yeah.
Versus just letting a story play out.
I think too there is the the market has to cast a wide net.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately superheroes just aren't for 11-year-olds anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like dudes in their 40s and 50s use their whole life on these superheroes, and I'm including us in this. Like we want drama, we want compelling stories out of these characters that we've known for since before we were born. But
Like,
we also don't want them to change.
Yeah. And I know we joke about that whole, Scott, Jean, Wolverine, Polly thing going on. But like I want that story. Like I feel like there's a legitimately compelling story there with those three characters.
Yeah.
That will never be touched outside of a panel that is winking at it.
Yeah. But I think the problem is going to be the parent company.
Yeah,
Mm,
100%.
yeah.
Disney will never let that happen. Warner Brothers.
Disney's first gay kiss in Star Wars was then preceded immediately by a longer shot of a giant slug man. Like,
well, and then their next first gay kiss was, the Abomination in Beauty and the Beast.
What?
Which is getting a spin-off show allegedly. So who knows? Yeah.
So, I all that to say is that we as readers want to have our cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we 30 plus year olds also have to cater to the fact that 11-year-olds are also going to buy this, so what gives, Batman's full of hyper violence, but we can't have
Just a good conversation. Like, hey, like how are you feeling about where we're at in this relationship?
Yeah.
Good emotional maturity.
Yeah, but the idea of
I can't have that in my real life, Marco.
The idea of Cyclops, Jean, and Wolverine, getting together and actually having a conversation of, oh, what is this? What are we? Is there a name for this? Like, that goes outside of Bob Iger's Christian values.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. And then like the whole idea of like when comics does buck that trend or like it gives Peter Parker, Carly Cooper for once. Like Carly, the new love interest, it was a little different. It only lasts a little while because people complain about it. And so they are reactionary to the fans that complain, which are usually the more vocal minority.
Mm.
Although, but then there's stuff like Lois Lane. Like, do I think you should have Superman dating someone else? Not really. I think Superman is good as the dad, traditional family dynamic thing there. But I think you should have another flavor of that elsewhere.
Let me bring out this part of the question. Should there be a hard line with certain characters? Your Reed Richards, your Sue Storm, your Clark Kent, Lois Lane.
I think it's fine to have a hard line for some characters like that. I think it is specific to character where that dynamic is integral to the character. Sue Storm and Reed, being married is dynamic to the Fantastic Four. And I think the tumultuous parts of the relationship are also dynamic to that. When Sue is looking at Namor, like it is a speed bump in Fantastic Four history that they can play on.
Yeah.
And I think that should also be the case in the inverse, that it really isn't. Like there's never a will they, won't they, with they're trying to do a little more with like John Kent and Tim Drake with non-straight
sexualities. Yeah.
Yeah. But I also want the inverse of like it doesn't have to be I want to get married to this person. Like give me the She-Hulk on Tinder in the comics.
Yeah.
Modern dating stories, like that's I think it also helps to like it's supposed to be the world outside your window, right? Like
exactly.
This is a further extension of that. To your direct question though, Cale, I think it's also character by character, but I think there's some characters where like I'm happy to have a universe where Superman and Lois Lane get together and they have a family. But one of my favorite runs in New 52 was the team up book between Superman and Wonder Woman. And they had Charles Soule.
No,
that relationship, bro.
No, I hate.
No, thank you.
I
like that
with
so
Batman
good.
Or Superman. I
loved
it so
it.
much.
Hard fan.
Poor choice of words there.
But I think having the variety and having the option for certain characters is good to maintain. I think Reed Richards and Sue Storm is an example of one that I probably wouldn't affect. But to your point, you can add complexity. But I'm okay with Superman not necessarily ending up with Lois Lane, or even at that point, I'd like to see a consistent flirtatious relationship with them, like a will they, won't they. I think that's fun.
You could have a flirtatious relationship and still be married. You know what I mean? Like,
but I mean,
I didn't, but
But you also you don't have to. It could be like a thing of like this is building up over the course of years where
Sure.
they're not even in a relationship yet. They're still figuring each other out, who they are as people, et cetera, et cetera. Like I think
Or
you could pace that out.
or the lack of flirtation in a married relationship could be a plot point,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know,
For sure.
and that's actually addressing relationships as its own story rather than something that just needs to be a checklist that I feel like people in relationships and comics really are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just looked it up. Superman and Lois didn't get married until 1996.
Yeah,
Wow. He
yeah.
waited for a long time. She must have been like,
Wow.
all right, like, yo, where's the ring? What's
Like
going on?
Bruce Wayne, he's got some money.
Listen, Lois is a career gal. She probably
True.
didn't give two shits.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You let me know when you're ready.
Yeah.
He was doing
I'll be back.
investigative radio reporting instead.
What 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 other characters? There's Reed and Sue, and we've said Superman and Lois, and it sounds like that's even uh on shaky ground for Marco, which is
Wild.
insane.
Yeah.
Are there other characters you think should be locked down, so to speak?
I like Spider-Man being on shaky ground constantly.
Mm.
I think that fits for Peter Parker. Because Peter Parker as a person is the most indecisive, annoying person ever. So I like how that causes him to fuck up relationships, you know? Because I like Peter Parker as like a mess up, and sometimes that extends to his relationships.
I think especially if you're gonna make him constantly de-age and
Yeah,
you know reset and reboot, and you're never gonna let him actually grow, then I could see that. But
sometimes sometimes people need a Black Cat arc, you know?
I think that sort of, for me, that's emblematic of a different conversation with Peter Parker altogether.
Sure, Peter Parker's a special character, I think.
Yeah.
Inversely, I feel like Tony Stark should never be married.
Yeah, perpetual playboy.
Yeah. Even though he's getting married this week, coming up when we're recording this. So
the second time in like a year, something like that.
Who did he marry previous?
Didn't
he marry
he,
Pepper Potts in the comics?
Oh, I'm sure he's been married to Pepper Potts, but didn't he marry Hellcat?
He proposed to her.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that who he's getting married to?
He's getting married to Emma Frost.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I think my big one is Green Arrow, Black Canary.
Should be together. Like it
should be. Yeah,
should be.
And I think even if you don't put the marriage label on it, I think that I think the complexities of navigating like a mature relationship between those two are really good. Like even those two should always, even more so than Superman and Lois, I think.
Those two should always be in each other's lives, whether or not it's romantic or it's just friends. I think both of them are rife for storytelling potential.
Mm-hmm. Like Joker and Harley Quinn.
I'm done with those two. That's an abusive relationship. The stories have been told. I no longer care. Harley's bigger than that now.
Yeah.
Honestly, Harley and Poison Ivy, I think, is like a good example.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Of like evolution.
Growth.
Yeah, of them evolving and realizing things about themselves, and is it friends? Is it not? It's a will she, won't she sort of thing. But
sure.
I don't think the comics has fully pulled the trigger on that yet, but they've been dancing around it.
But the
they've
one
they've been in a relationship in the comics, but I don't think it's ever been the focal point of something.
Oh,
the Cammy Garcia stuff, with was it
Beast Boy and Raven?
Yeah, like that stuff.
Oh yeah,
like that stuff's looks a lot of fun. I haven't read some of it yet.
Honestly, have you guys ever worked in a small setting with like a limited amount of coworkers?
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised the Teen Titan characters have not slept around with each other more often.
Oh, 100%.
Like when you're in that close vicinity with your coworkers, people are fishing in the same pond there. Come on.
Well, and I think that's the appeal to what Marco was saying about the X-Men.
Yeah.
earlier. You know, I think especially they're in such a unique situation at that school or even in this island, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The island's got to make it even worse. I've seen Love Island trailers.
Yeah.
And one of their laws is fucking repopulate.
Yeah, Nightcrawler was like, yo, y'all need to screw.
One of their Marco said one of their laws is fucking, and you could have stopped the sentence right there.
Their most religious character became the fuck police.
Do it. Go around.
And as such, lost his faith.
Fair. You know what? I like Nightcrawler's Krakoan arc. Great.
His villain arc.
Okay. That's it. I think we have solidified where we stand.
We've
which
answered
is
the question.
Nowhere.
which is free love. Answer is it depends.
Yeah. I think the overall answer is probably it depends on the character, which I think is an interesting thing. I think if you can't bring it in as like a package deal and make it work, then it probably doesn't work.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, YouTubians, for listening to this. Whatever this is. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening and being a massive part of what we do here. You have made it possible for us to do so much. We thank you. We love you. And we'll see you next time. Take care.